this is Kiri from KiriMade, and I'm doing a series of videos introducing non-weavers to weaving. This week, we're going to actually start putting the warp on the loom. Last time, we talked about winding the warp, and so now I have the warp all set up, and we're ready to do the first step in putting it on the loom, which is called beaming. So on a floor loom like this, you have a warp beam back here, and your warp threads, which are these here, are going to be wrapped around that beam, and then as you weave, they will unwind. And part of the job of the loom is to use the warp beam and the other beams, and you stretch it between the two, and that puts tension on it so that you can have proper tension in your cloth as you weave. So two important things for beaming. One is that you want to have the warp spread out. And so I'm actually using the reed up here at the front. A lot of people will use a rattle at the back, but I have it set up with the reed so that it's spreading the warp to the exact width that I want. And the other thing is you want to have even tension as the warp is being wrapped onto the beam, because that way, as you're weaving it, you also will have even tension, which is very important for having a good quality cloth. So I have everything all set up, so I'm ready to actually start winding on to the beam. All right, so now I'm just going to start cranking it on. So now when my warp starts wrapping around the beam, I'm actually going to put these sticks in just so the warp threads are not building up right on the cords. And then when these least sticks come back far enough, I slide them forward, and these kind of help to just even out the tension a little bit too, and they're also keeping all the threads in order. This was actually our weaver's cross from when we wound the warp. Okay, so you saw what we're doing at the back of the loom, cranking it on. But I just wanted to show how I'm actually putting tension on it, which is to use weights. These are actually just milk jugs that I've filled with water. And so the nice thing about that is I know, since I have basically the same amount of threads in both of these warp chains, I know that I'm putting the same amount of tension on all of the warp threads. And I just have a bar on my ceiling that I use as a point to just hang the weights off of. So you'll see as I'm cranking, they're gonna go up. All right, so now the warp is all beamed and it's ready for the next steps in dressing the loom, which I will talk about next time. So we'll discuss threading and slaying. If you'd like to learn a little bit more, you can go to my blog, kirimade.com.